On the phone is Commissioner Cowthall, Vice Chairman, Commissioner Bergen, Commissioner Nick, and right now, because of a wife's illness, I don't think Commissioner Corrigan will be in attendance.
Volk.
Or Volk, I'm sorry, same first name, Mark Volk. So we have a light agenda today, the guidelines that I'm going to talk to you about, plus 2 administrative matters, so I will proceed. The Commission has been tasked with developing guidelines under Act 29 of 2012, which establishes the State Military College Legislative Appointment Initiative Program. Under the program, each member of the General Assembly may annually appoint an eligible student who is a resident of the member's legislative district for guaranteed enrollment in a state military college. Such appointments must be made at the sole recommendation of a selection committee created by the member. The Commission is to develop guidelines to govern the establishment and functions of the committees to help ensure that the committees and the legislative appointments do not create any conflicts of interest or otherwise violate the Ethics Act or the Legislative Code of Ethics. Today, we will discuss and possibly take action as to the proposed guidelines. A draft of the proposed guidelines has been prepared by the Commission's Legal Division based upon an independent review as well as input received from the Chair and Vice Chair of the House Committee on Ethics, Counsel for the Legislative Caucuses and Legislative Staff, and Dr. George Anderson, who is on the call, who is the Legislative Liaison for the Valley Forge Military College. Their input is greatly appreciated by the Commission. We have copies of the draft guidelines available here today for anyone who is interested. It has been brought to our attention that the current draft has a grammatical error that the Commission might want to correct in paragraph 3 on page 3 of the guidelines. Specifically, the next to last sentence includes a double negative such that the words "do not" should be removed in front of the word "ultimately." Having noted that correction, I would suggest that this would be an appropriate time to open the floor for anyone in the audience to speak. Do we have anyone in the audience that cares to speak? Dr. Anderson, do you have any comments at this time?
I just wish to thank the Commission on behalf of Valley Forge, on behalf of the students and the veterans in this state for all the work that they have done on this. It has been an arduous task that has been well staffed and professionally executed, and we as an institution, and me personally, and I personally, very much appreciate all the effort.
Thank you, and we appreciate your help, Dr. Anderson. How about any of the commissioners, those on the call, or Commissioner Corrigan, do you have any comments? Or
I would make one comment. I think it's an excellent job by the staff, and I was very pleased to see them. Thank you, Robert.
I don't know if you all heard that on the call. Commissioner Corrigan complimented the staff on the fine job on these guidelines. Well, if there's no comments from anyone in the audience or other comments from any commissioners, I would entertain a motion to adopt the guidelines as outlined with the amendment or change with the double negative. My mother was an English teacher. She wouldn't like a double negative. So I would entertain a motion to adopt these guidelines.
I'll move it. Call.
Call.
Commissioner Caulfield moved. And was there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Any questions, comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The guidelines have been adopted with the change on the double negative.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I would just note that based on our conversation prior to the meeting, I will be publishing these in the Pennsylvania Bulletin.
Okay, did y'all hear that? Robin said that with the approval of these guidelines, they will now be published in the Pennsylvania Bulletin, which is pretty standard procedure. While I have all of you, those of you that don't know and haven't heard, effective March 15, our Executive Secretary, Claire Hirschberger, has decided to retire from the Commission after 20 years of outstanding service. We're going to miss Claire, and since she is responsible for the minutes, I want her to make sure that it's included in the minutes how much this Commission appreciated the fine work you have done. And if any other commissioners have any comments, they can make them now, or to her personally. Her last day is March 15th.
Yeah, this is Commissioner Caulfield. I'd like to say that Claire has been an outstanding employee of the Commission. I've never had any problems with her on anything, and anything that I ever requested, she immediately got into it and did what I had requested. And she will be missed, and we wish her the very best.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Roger Nick here. I'd just like to say that this being only my second meeting as a member of the Commission, Claire has been extremely helpful to me in everything, both administratively and in terms of the meeting. So, an excellent employee, and I'm going to regret this, see her retire, having used her so much in the last couple months.
Thank you, Roger. Anyone else have any
Yeah,
comments?
John, it's Raquel, and I will miss Claire terribly. She's an unbelievably organized individual who helps organize me, and really the heart and the soul of the Commission. So, Claire, you will be missed.
Thank you.
March 15th is her last day. There's a program that I'm going to ask Rob Caruso to mention that I would like to show in the minutes. I've recommended it, and it's called an annuitant program. And Rob, would you just point out to the other commissioners how that works briefly?
Okay, through the retirement system, employees who retire from state service are permitted to come back to work for the Commonwealth a total of 95 days each year. They can begin working, coming back to their old agency 2 weeks following their retirement date. We would like Claire to come back to work 1 day a week to help with the workload until a replacement can be selected. So Claire would be eligible to come back to provide services to the Commission, I believe beginning April 1st.
Okay, and Claire has agreed to do that. She has possibly going to be taking other employment, but she can come back at least 1 day a week. Obviously, we can't fill that position by March 15th, so we're going to need some help for Rob and the rest of the staff. Council Hitty, do we need a motion to approve this?
I think it's a good idea, at least initially.
Okay. Rob's going to need help. Claire will be gone March 15th. I'd like to entertain a motion that we look into this annuitant program and hire Claire for the workload that Rob has and the rest of the Commission until the position is filled, and she has agreed to help that new person. So, will somebody make that motion to approve the annuitant program for Claire?
So So moved.
Yeah, this is Nick Colafella. I'll make the motion.
Okay, and Mark Corrigan seconded it. And so are there any questions, comments? It's pretty standard. We're not doing anything that's not out of the ordinary, and we will need Claire's help. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, and then Rob, you investigate that and proceed and work out with Claire, okay?
Yeah, I think you have to write a letter to the retirement board requesting approval, that type of thing. Perhaps you should cite our motion here as a commission to approve that.
Okay, Commissioner Corrigan was advising Rob the procedure that he knows of, and so we'll work on it here, and we appreciate your approval. I just have one more item for the commissioners. You've all received resumes for the position of executive director. And unless you object, here's the plan that I recommend. Commissioner Colfellow and I will review all the resumes for the executive director. We will eliminate those that we feel aren't qualified, and I'm sure after you've all reviewed them, you'll understand there are several that didn't meet the criteria that we desire. After we eliminate those that we feel aren't qualified, we will send you that list to see if you agree or if you want to add any or take any away. The next step then would be for the full commission to review the remaining resumes to determine those that we will interview. As you agreed at a previous meeting, you all agreed you would come in and we would block out a day or whatever time was needed to conduct these interviews of those that we agree on the conference call will be interviewed. And also, depending on what Rob Caruso and Robin Hitty say, it may be a case where the afternoon before we'll do some commission business, and then the next day hit it first thing and do the interviews and proceed that way. Does any commissioner have any problem with that plan? Commissioner Corrigan's okay. Are those on the phone okay with that plan? Everyone's going to have a crack at it. It'll just speed up the process if the chairman and vice chairman eliminate those, obviously, that aren't qualified. So, everyone okay with that plan? Silence.
It's deemed an assent.
Commissioner Bergen, Commissioner Colfellow.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're okay.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. Then that's what we'll do. And we'll be in touch with you, Claire, or somebody when, I know everyone's schedules are busy, but we agreed we've got to block out some time, one for the call to determine who we're going to interview, and then block out some time for, come in here to interview those that we agreed to. Okay. Anyone else have anything for the good of the order? Staff? Commissioner Corrigan?
Nope.
Anyone on the phone?
No.
Nope.
Good job, John.
Thank you very much, and we'll be talking to you, and this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you very much.